Hello my beauties, and welcome to Holy Nerdvana, where we combine the joys of spiritual meditation with PC gaming. I am looking at Once Human this time, running on high-end GPUs from AMD and Nvidia, specifically the GeForce RTX 4070 and the Radeon RX 7900 GRE. As I mentioned in my last video, the Nvidia cards are running in DX12 mode because I tested them first, and it's required if you want to use DLSS. I've checked a few of them running in DX11 mode, without DLSS, and it does run a little bit faster. Most of the AMD cards are running in DX11 mode, as DirectX 12 is currently causing the game to crash to the desktop. That will probably get fixed with a future patch, but as of September 29th they are crashing. But on with the testing. I'm starting at 1080p medium, and straight away you can see the RTX 4070 performing quite a bit worse than the RX 7900 GRE. That's not surprising in itself, as the GRE is usually the faster card. But DX11 does run quite a bit faster in this game with the 1080p middle settings. Checking out the charts, the 7900 GRE ties the 7900 XTX for performance and beats the RTX 4070 by 37%. But I saw a 15% improvement with Nvidia's RTX 4080 Super running in DX11 mode compared to DX12, so if the same applies to the 4070, it's more like a 20% lead for the GRE, and that's more in line with expectations for rasterization games like Once Human. Keeping the resolution at 1920 by 1080 but moving to the very high preset, performance on both GPUs drops around 15 to 20%. Time of day can also vary, depending on when I tested, daytime versus nighttime, clear versus raining or fog, but I only saw about a 5% maximum difference between the various settings. Anyway, the 7900 GRE again delivers a massive lead, outperforming the 4070 by nearly 50%. DirectX 11 isn't going to close that gap, though it might get 15 to 20% faster. Also, in DX11 mode the minimum FPS was typically worse on the Nvidia cards, so keep that in mind. Now let's look at 1440p, again using the very high preset. This is going to push the GPUs a little harder, though they're both doing fine still. The 7900 GRE has dropped to just about 140 FPS, while the RTX 4070 comes up just shy of 100 frames per second. Both have minimums well over 60 FPS as well, so they're totally playable. Maybe frame rates might be lower than what I'm showing in some areas of the game, but nothing I've seen suggests you'd need to worry about sub 60 FPS at 1440p with these two GPUs. And you can see in the chart, I got 139 FPS on the 7900 GRE compared to 95 frames per second on the RTX 4070. I wish I didn't need to question the DX11 versus DX12 stuff, but live service, free-to-play games like Once Human have a tendency to release multiple updates every week when they're popular. But why stop at 1440p when I can try 4K with maxed out settings to really punish these GPUs? They've been very naughty and I may need to administer a spanking or two, especially for the RTX 4070, which now fails to break 60 frames per second and leaves me feeling completely unfulfilled. At least the 7900 GRE can satisfy me. It keeps going and going. But let's not get distracted. Here's the 4K chart, and the 7900 GRE still delivers 37% more performance. Knock off 15% of that for DX11, perhaps, but that's not going to change the standings in the least. If you want a better, smoother experience from Nvidia's RTX 4070, this is where upscaling and frame generation can be helpful. Except you can't do frame generation on the AMD GPUs because Once Human only supports FSR2 right now, while Nvidia GPUs get DLSS 3. For upscaling only, using quality mode, the 7900 GRE runs about 25% faster than native. That's less of a benefit than we usually get from super resolution, and less than DLSS gives the 4070. Nvidia's GPU sees a 48% boost to frame rates, so overall that closes the gap between these two high-end options. AMD still comes out ahead, but only by 17% now. And then if I turn on frame generation for the Nvidia card, that's good for another 20% or so. Which is actually disappointing. Nvidia always likes to talk about how AI technologies like upscaling and frame generation are performance multipliers, but I usually think about 50 or even 80% higher performance as the expectation, not just 20%. Especially when you consider that the base frame rate will only be 46 FPS compared to 77 FPS without framegen. Still, while you're not getting a massive boost from either upscaling or framegen, together they give a decent improvement in frame rates. Thanks again for watching. Please hit the bell and give me a subscribe as well if you haven't done so. I've got plenty of other games to test, and I'm also more than happy to hear what games you might want to see tested. Drop me a note in the comment. Ta-ta for now, love, and I can't wait to see you next time.